All right, good evening. On behalf of the MRC 91 repeater, I'd like to welcome you all to the Wednesday night Elmer Net. My name is Jim, Kilo Tango 9 Golf, and I will be acting as your net control operator for tonight's net, which is February 5th, 2025. Licensed amateurs, technician class or higher, are encouraged to check in either with or without traffic. Before we start tonight's net, however, if you should have an emergency during this net, please let us know and we will stop to handle your emergency. Traffic for this net means questions, comments, problems, and news about computers or other technical devices or ham radio equipment in general. Questions about new digital modes or thinking about trying a new radio or a new digital mode or whatever, let's see if someone else can help you out. However, please note that we will not accept traffic offering to distribute copyrighted programs. Stand by. If you have anything you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we suggest you check out the MRC 91 repeater Sunday nights directly after the Sunday night announcement net for the Sunday night swap net, where that type of traffic is encouraged. All right, getting started. Check-ins are in alphabetical segments based on the first letter following the numeral in your call sign. Mobile stations may ignore the roll call segment and check in at any time when it is safe to do so. During check-ins, please respond with your call sign slowly and in standard phonetic along with your first name and whether or not you have any traffic. Again, my name is Jim, KT9G, your net control for this evening. We'll go ahead and begin check-ins with any mobile or short-time stations. Mobile or short-time, go ahead. Come now, please. All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead. I did see W9GTZ drop into NetLogger. W9GTZ, Jim, if you're out there, give me a roger, roger.
Roger, roger.
All right, I got you on the list. All right, let's do A alpha through K kilo. A alpha through K kilo. Come now, please. All right, let's do A alpha through V Victor. A alpha through V Victor. Come now, please.
Kilo Alpha 9, Mike Bravo, Mike.
Kilo Alpha 9er Juliet Bravo Delta.
K9 Uniform India Lima.
I'm at work.
K9 Uniform India Lima.
All right, yeah, I got KA9MBM, Mike, KA9JBD, Mike, K9UIL, Marty, and KD9TJM, Wayne. I heard you guys double, but I got you both in there. So, anyone else? A alpha through V Victor. All right, let's open her all the way up. A alpha through Z Zulu. Anybody within the sound of my voice? Go ahead. Come now, please. All right. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and get started. So tonight, I didn't have anything major. There was a couple of topics that were suggested last week. I would like to, we can definitely chat about a few of those, but one of the things that I did want to kind of continue on was there's some interest in voice-based digital modes, Fusion, D-Star, things like that. And I do know that Mike on the net has been playing with M17, which is a new one, and has some cool updates on that, so I'll let him chat about that for a second. Would like to know what your, when it gets to your turn, and you, as always, you can ask any other questions you want, but what's your experience with digital modes as far as like D-Star, Fusion, All-Star, DMR, things like that? Are you interested in it at all? And if you do it, what do you do with it that you like? And things like that. So I'll save my little skit at the end for my part till the end of the first round, and then we can go from there. If this topic dies off, we can pull from the hat the topics that we discussed last week. So W9GTZ, Jim, go ahead. Floor is yours.
W9GTZ. I guess at this point I can say I know nothing about digital at all, and have had no experience in it, but willing to learn. Back to net control.
Okay, yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe you had voiced interest in doing it, and now I don't remember what radio you said you had, but this is yeah the one that we're talking about now is a bit more along the lines of like what you could use for rag chewing and things like that. So there's that. Okay, well, then KA9MBM, Mike, go ahead. Floor is yours.
Good evening, everybody in the net. This is KE9MBM. Well, you probably heard me talking about M17. It's a digital mode for voice. And Jim out there, who's asked questions, said he doesn't know anything about but would like to learn about digital voice. Here's something a little bit about M17. Well, M17 is a new digital mode for voice, and it has been developed by amateur radio operators worldwide for ham radio operators, and it is open source. There's no licensing fees or anything like that. And the audio is much clearer and better than anything I've heard from D-Star or DMR. Anyway, I converted the progress on it. Jim, KT9G, and myself, we started off with an app for your cell phone or Android tablet called DroidStar. If you want to get involved with a digital mode, you can download DroidStar from the Google App Store. It's free to use. There's no charge or anything like that. You can install it, and we can help you configure it and explain how to use it, and can even talk to you through it. That's a way to get started with M17. And then once you get that far, if you want to actually start transmitting with M17, there's a couple different methods you can go. And when I'm talking about transmitting, it's transmitting RF over the airways. So, Jim, I'm going to reset here, so otherwise I'm going to run out of time here. Let me reset. Okay. Anyway, one of the two ways that you can do it is there's been, throughout the years, a series of ham radio equipment, Yaesu, Kenwood, ICOM, that have a serial, a 9600 baud serial port, a data jack on the back of the radio. And that originally was used for packet radio. People would hook a TNC to it, and they could do AM-Tour, PAC-Tour, PSK-31, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. And I'm talking about VHF, UHF radios. There's a board called M17 module, and you would hook this board to that data jack, and then you would be able to transmit RF from this board through the radio, M17 data. That's one method. A second method is to, like I did, was I purchased a Chinese radio, a TYT, it was an MD-UV380, and what it is, it's a 2-meter, 70-centimeter dual-band radio, DMR. And there was instructions on the internet, on the M17 project website on there, and they explained and showed pictures step by step on how to convert the radio. and basically you have to take it apart, and then you'd have to remove some components and do some jumpers and stuff like that. But it's very tedious. It took me over 5 hours to do it. It's not easy, and it's not for everyone. But I did it, and I was able to transmit, have a QSO with a ham in Northern Ireland. We talked for a half an hour using my HT through a hotspot that was connected to the internet. And then he had a hotspot on his end, and he used that M17 module board with, I think it was a Yaesu radio that had a data port on the back. So we had a nice chat, half an hour. I was his first contact on M17. So basically that is the update on M17. It's the latest mode out there for voice over IP there. And I hope everybody, if anybody has questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them. Or you can contact Jim there, our net control. So with that, Jim, I'm throwing it back to you. KT9G, this is KE9MBM.
All right, KA9MBM, KT9G. Well, thank you for that. And yeah, it's fun to tinker with. Droid Star on the phone. I don't know if they have an Apple equivalent. I believe we talked about it, the Droid Star part. Very easy to set up. I got it working. I made a contact with KA9MBM on M17 with that on my phone. So it does work. Getting it to work via an HT and whatnot, like Mike was saying, is a bit more tedious, but it is doable. Or you can use the modular board. So there's ways. But it is a good sounding mode. It sounds the same as D-Star if you do it directly off the cell phone, but if you move to RF, apparently it makes it sound a lot better. So that's kind of cool. All right, KA9JBD. Mike, go ahead. Floor is yours.
Yeah, good evening, Jim, and that KA9JBD, Mike and Muskego here. Yeah, no real comments on M17. Last week before, whatever, Jim, you were also talking about other digital modes. As a POTA hunter, I have been reading some, or I should say watching some YouTube videos on FT8, which is something that I'm interested in, pretty much solely because FT8, besides sideband and CW, seems to be next in line for Parks on the Air stuff. So I'm going to be up north camping Memorial Day weekend and a few days the following Memorial Day, and I'm hoping to have by then I have some time to research and try stuff, hoping to find a way to use FT8 in my proposed activation up north, high. So that's all for now. K9JBD, back to net.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. KA9 JBD, KT9G. All right, K9UIL. Marty, go ahead. Floor is yours.
KT9UIL, this is Marty. Thank you. We're in Brookfield, and it's just a great discussion. I've been off the air for a while, actually quite a few years, and I'm just getting the station back up and trying to learn all the updates and the new modes that are available and that people are using on different ham radio frequencies and updates. So this is a fantastic thing for me to just listen to. Just my comment is the M17 looks like a digital voice encoder kind of scheme, and then it's sent as data on the air, just on VHF bands, like 2 meters and above, or just any band where digital modes are approved for in that frequency band. The only thing I've used is EchoStar, which is a way to connect to some repeaters network to that, but I doubt that that's anything similar to what you're talking about. Anyway, I'll turn it back to Net and listen to more to learn more stuff. K9UIL over to KT9G.
Okay, yeah. K9UIL, KT9G, net control. I will let I'll let Mike answer that on his next round. I have no idea if there's restrictions on where it can be used. I don't know. Okay. Wayne. And I did want to say welcome back after your hiatus, Marty. I'm glad to have you here. Wayne, KD9 TGM, go ahead. You said you were at work already. Floor's yours.
Yeah, for a change, I'm at work, so I can actually sit up there and talk. Yeah, hi. Yeah, KD9 TGM. All right. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, as far as digital modes, yeah, if you guys had, looked at my Facebook post, yeah, I got my Grandode Anytone 578 in here. Yes, I can do DMR. What I did over the weekend, I did reprogrammed it, add some more, stuff to it, because again, the way I had it set up, I couldn't really sit up there and do a lot of programming with it on the fly, so I had to do it at home. I did add a couple repeaters just in the Nashville area, because as some of you guys know, I'm down there twice a week. But I didn't put in any of the, codes or anything like that, for DMR. I've tried to use DMR before. It's not really my thing, so to speak. But even to tack on from last week, I got a Droidstar already on my phone. I haven't really played with it a lot. I tried a couple times, so not really all up to everything with it. I don't know if it's going to be my thing or not. I have no idea. So, but yeah, I'll just kick back, still chime in on my round, but, I'll just kick back and listen to some more of the info. So, KT9 TGM, back to that.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. KD9, TGM, KT9G, net control. All right. Should if you ever get your own truck again, and you're not at the mercy of the company truck, suggesting Starlink has turned into a political comment nowadays, but Amazon's coming out with one called Kuiper, so that might work for an option. But I have heard some really cool things. I believe Jason from Ham Radio 2.0 did a video on the Starlink system for like hikers. You could get something like that on your truck. You could have DMR connect to it. At that point, just do Zoom calls while you're driving, I guess. But that'd be kind of fun. There's good groups on there to learn a lot of information from. There's a lot of really good tech calls on there. So, all right. So that brings us down to the bottom of the list. My comments that I wanted to give on digital, I will do that before doing a call out here. So hold on. Let me break for a second. Okay. So I got into the hobby. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh. Sorry. There was a booger situation with my kid. I think we're good. Anyway, I got in because of emergency communications. And because of that, DMR and those digital modes did not interest me at all. The point was to be able to communicate without using already pre-established infrastructure backend, such as cell networks or internet. That being said, there are some digital modes that are on the radios, such as D-Star and whatnot, that you can do simplex on radio to radio, and get, you can do that. So I have played with that. Well, over time, I kind of got convinced myself that if, I'm going to run this Elmer net and consider myself an Elmer, I should probably know at least a little bit about digital modes. So that's why I'm getting into it. I'm most likely going to pull the trigger on buying a hotspot soon for myself, learn how to set that up and play with it and whatnot, and go from there. So that's my take on it. And even if you are an e-coms person, you have no interest in DMR and you don't even want to learn about it, the other good thing about it is there's a lot of really smart, good people on the DMR nets. So if you have the capability, there's a lot of good nets on there that you can learn a lot from. So it's a good way to meet more people in this hobby and learn a lot of things. So there's that. Okay, let me break for a second before we do another call out here. Okay. Oh, hey, one more thing. Forgot to mention this. If you are interested in doing digital modes and you are interested in doing even just starting off with DroidStar and not buying a radio and you just want to play with it, you do need to get a digital ID, which you get from radioid.net. You got to submit your license and all sorts of fun stuff and proof that you have a license, and then you'll get a DMR ID. I believe you have to have that even for M17. I think you don't have to do it for D-Star, but D-Star has a separate registration system, and I think Fusion has its own too. You have to register into these systems on the back end. So if you're interested in getting into it, let me know. I can give a little bit more information on that. All right. Is there anybody else out there, A Alpha through Z Zulu, interested in joining the Wednesday Night Elmer Net? Go ahead. Come now, please. Okay. Hearing none. We'll bring it up to the top of the list here to Jim again, W9GTZ. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Whiskey 9, Golf Tango Zulu. Jim, you asked about my radio. I'm using an FT991A. It has C4 FM on it, a mode to go to. I haven't done anything with it yet. The S17, did you say that that you can buy a module that you connect to the transceiver without buying a whole radio? Whiskey 9 Golf Tango Zulu.
Yes, correct. That is what I was informed of. I will let Mike opine on that some more. I believe he said that the guy he was chatting to in Northern Ireland was using that, and he might also remember what radio he was using. But yeah, you don't have to buy a whole new radio to use this. I mean, in fact, you don't have to even use a radio at all. That's what I was referring to with the DroidStar thing. So that's just an app on your phone, and you can talk right into your phone and use it and get on any M17 networks that you want. I mean, you can get on other stuff too, really. But if you want to stick to using it on the radio, yes, there is an adapter and board that you can use to get on. But yeah, like I said, I'll let Mike explain that. Whether or not you need a hotspot, and you probably, unless that connects directly to the internet, I'm not sure. Well, Mike's up next, so I'll let him answer that question. KA9MBM, go ahead, floor is yours.
Okay, this is KE9MBM. Okay, guys, here we go. For these digital modes, I'm talking about the voice part, not FT8. FT8 is a keyboard digital mode. Just want to make sure everybody understands that so you don't get confused. So, with the voice digital modes, the DMR, the Fusion, which is the Yaesu radio, the 991, D-Star, the M17, all these different digital modes. Jim is right. You need to sign up on a website. It doesn't cost anything. It's basically the same as what you had to do with Echolink. If you ever used Echolink, you had to register for that. And basically what you do is they want proof of your license. So what you do is you have the PDF file that you downloaded from the FCC, and it's got to be that one, because encoded in that PDF is a it's in there that states that this is the official copy. And so you have to take that copy, that PDF that you've got from the FCC, upload a copy of it to these different websites that request you for signing up. So, for example, DMR, there's a website called Radio ID. And in there, you upload a copy of your FCC in the license from the actual PDF that you downloaded on there, and then you will receive shortly after they verify it. It might take an hour or less. It's pretty quick. I got to reset here, Jim. Okay. So anyways, you reset, you upload the copy of your license, they okay it, and then they send you by email, you have to give them your email address too, they will send you an email with your DMR ID number. And basically what that does is it links to your call letters on the DMR network system. And so when basically you need that ID to be transmitted when you go on the DMR network, any of their networks. It also will work with NextDen, that's NEXDN, it's another digital voice network. And then you'll need it for M17 as well. For basically in the DroidStar phone application, you have to put in your DMR ID and your call letters as part of the setup, so you do need it for that. On the M17 that I've been using here, the DMR ID is in the hotspot, so it gets transmitted along with the M17 voice data. And then D-Star has its own website that you have to sign up. Again, all these websites are free. They just, you have to be added to the database for D-Star users in order to use the D-Star network. Fusion, I think they'll use I think it's the same on the Radio ID website for Fusion to sign up for that. I'm not certain. But that's the story with that. And the answer to the question, M17 can be used on 2 meters and higher frequencies. Can't use it on HF because of the modulation bandwidth requirement. So it takes up a little bit more bandwidth than what 3 kilohertz is allowed on HF. So that's where it is. And then if your radio supports as a data jack on the 991, which I'm not sure, then you could use that M17 module to transmit. Back to you, Jim, KT9G, K9MBM in the net.
All right, KA9MBM, KT9G, net control. Okay, hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, thank you for that. And yes, 2 meters and above, yeah, for the bandwidth requirements. That makes sense. Okay. Sorry, there's kids running around the house. I got distracted. What was the other thing that was brought up? Yeah, just making sure that you register with all of the unique systems if you want to do any of those. And then, yeah, thank you for answering the M17 requires the DMR ID, which is what you get from radioid.net. So that's good. Okay. KA9JBD. Michael, go ahead. Floor is yours.
Yeah, KA9JBD, Mike and Miskio returning. Yeah, very interesting. I appreciate Mike MBM's I'll look on that M17 thing, though I'll probably never use it because I'm kind of an old school guy. by. But actually, I'm working remotely tonight from home, so I will make this my 73, and I'll be listening in the background. Back to net, KA9JBD.
All right, KA9JBD, KT9G, net control. All right, 73s. I got you marked as checked out. If you want to throw your name back in there at any point, just go ahead. I'll bring you back in. But yeah, 73s, have a great night and have fun working. All right, K9UIL. Marty, go ahead. Floor is yours.
K9UL coming back. Fantastic. No, I've just been learning a lot, trying to make a bunch of notes as you're talking about these different modes. Since I've been really trying to get back on the air for the last maybe 3 or 4 months, I did get introduced to Echolink and got to log in, like you talked about having to send a copy of your license in and get it validated so you can actually use that network, and that allows you to kind of connect an IP connection of sorts to different nodes in the network. This mode sounds totally different from that. It's like it's a digital mode, but it's point-to-point. It sounds like a peer-to-peer digital mode that I've got to learn about. Anyway, so much to learn. I've been involved with back on just normal analog modes up on 2 meters and sideband and CW down HF bands and getting antennas running and that sort of thing. But it's fascinating to me to just learn how much the hobby has expanded into way different modes of technology that have blossomed out of industry and different applications. So fantastic stuff. Back to net. K9UL.
Yeah, K9UIL, KT9G, net control. It is. I mean, I've only been in the hobby officially for a few years now, and so I haven't seen the great evolution that has gone on since its inception. But I do know that that's a topic we have chatted about on this net before. Maybe we'll do that conversation again. It's always nice to talk about. So yeah, sounds good. All right, KD9, TGM, Wayne, go ahead. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, well, we're listening to the net in the background. I actually went back on to look up my DMR number. I'm like, what is it? And I went in there and looked. Oh, there it is. So yeah, I was copying that down. I was over here just kind of playing around with Droidstar. You know, I'm like, I can't remember how to log on to this thing, but yeah, I'm gonna mess around with it a little bit. But yeah, yeah, nothing else really new. I was gonna bring up the concept of hamcation this week and see if anybody had any thoughts on that. But now I'll let the DMR stuff keep rolling, and we're gonna keep going on that way. So KD9 DJO.
All right, yeah, no worries. I mean, maybe we can throw that out on the next round if we lose steam on this. We are at the half-hour mark, and that brings us down to the bottom of the list. So is there anybody else out there, A Alpha through Z Zulu, who would like to join the Wednesday Night Elmer Net? Go ahead. Come now, please. All right, hearing none. We'll bring it up to the top of the list. And before I do, no, we'll keep rolling with this. If we run out of steam here, we'll bring up hamcation and anything else we want to chat about. I do know that one of the other topics was mobile stations, and questions about that if anybody had any. So if that's something you want to just tangent into, we can do that too. So. W9GTZ, Jim, go ahead. Floor is yours.
W9GTZ. Could you maybe email me a link or text me or whichever way works, a link to one of the M17 modules. I think I'd rather go that way. I'm not interested in using my phone to do it, and I would be rather, I think, put a module on my radio. And my question is I guess I shouldn't say is one mode better than the other. I guess if a guy was going to start with one mode of digital radio, would M17 be it, or would it be Echo Star or D Star or one of the others? Whiskey 9 Golf Tango Zulu.
Yeah, Whiskey 9 Golf Tango Zulu, Kilo Tango 9 Golf. Well, first, you're right. There is no one's better than the other. I mean, well, I'm sure that there's people that would say that. There are. They all have their pros and cons, and they all have their groups. Now, you have a 991 Alpha, which I believe should, out of the box, oh boy, that website's broken. Weird. Should out of the box be able to do System Fusion, which is their digital mode. It's like their D-Star or their DMR. I think. Anyone who owns a 991 that's done it, let me know, but I'm pretty sure it should be able to. Now, I don't own any Yaesus, and I've never done System Fusion, so I've never signed up and done that before, so I don't know that process. But if you want to get onto a voice digital mode and chat with people all over the world using the Internet Backbone digital style, you can do that from your 991, I'm pretty sure. Yes, I will get a M17 board link to you. I'm trying to see their stuff. I believe is all on GitHub, and unless I'm looking at the wrong thing here, I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you. So that's fine. And then what was the last thing that you said that I was gonna mention? I would say M17 would be the other one. So you can do Fusion because that one's you might have access to, so I just sign up for it and give it a shot. And then the other one would be like DMR, because if you sign up for radioid.net and you get your DMR ID, you can do all the DMR stuff, and that also gives you the option to do M17 anyway. M17 is really new, ish, so there's not a ton of traffic on it just yet, at least from what I've been told. So I'm not 100% sure how many people are out there, but if you sign up for DMR, there's tons and tons and tons of people on DMR. So that'll probably be where you get the most. D-Star is for the ICOM Kenwood people. You can also do that through your hotspot or whatever. So it really just depends on who you want to talk to. But like I said, the easiest lift for you would be System Fusion because it's on the Yaesu. Hold on, let me reset real quick. Hopefully that answers, and then Mike's up next, so I'll let him answer the other parts if there was anything that I missed on that. Or if, Mike, if you know specifically where to buy those boards from, you can answer that. KA9MBM, go ahead, floor is yours.
Okay, KA9MBM returning here in Elmer Net. Okay, Jim, I got a whole series of things here I could probably answer questions, so I'll give it my best. Forgive me if I have to reset a couple times here, but we'll answer these questions. To the other Jim there that was asking about, that has the 991. To get started, this is what I would do. I would use, since your radio already has Fusion, I would use Fusion to start out with. Because you want to keep this as simple, non-complicated as you can. Because otherwise you're going to get yourself confused, you'll get frustrated, and then you'll never try it again. So there are, if you open up the repeater directory, either the repeater book online on the internet, or the ARRL repeater book, and you go into Wisconsin, they have, I would look in the Milwaukee area, I believe there are a couple Fusion repeaters. So then what you would do is you would set your 991 up to the, the basic input and output, and you set it up to Fusion mode, and then you can connect to the repeater just as if you're connecting to the 9.1 repeater right now. You can use it in a mode like that. You can also, from that repeater, if that repeater is set up, you can connect to the internet and get on the Fusion network. And then you'll do digital voice all over the world. You can connect with people everywhere. And this is the choices that you got. So I would start with a local repeater, make it simple, and just give a holler out there and see if you can talk with anybody locally just through the repeater. And then you can try connecting from the repeater. From the repeater itself, there's a series of commands, and you can connect to the internet on the Fusion network, and then connect with different people there. I got to reset here, Jim. Okay. So that's what I would do to get started. And then Fusion is a very unique mode, meaning that it's good that it's unique. Because what it does is if you get a hotspot, basically it's a little box with an antenna on it, and it's connected to your internet connection, and basically you transmit from your radio, RF, to the little antenna that's on a little box somewhere in your room or in the house someplace, and you can get on the internet that way, the Fusion internet. But the unique thing about Fusion is that on a hotspot, built into the hotspot, it allows you to get on from a Fusion radio to the DMR network, the NextN network, the P25 network, and I think I said DMR. The only network that you cannot, and M17 too, you can't. It's unique. But M17 and M17 and D-Star are the only two digital voice modes that you can't do a conversion to from another mode. So like I said, the hotspot does the conversion for you. So if you go in there with Fusion and you have the hotspot set up for it, you can connect on a whole bunch of different modes just using your 991 radio. But the modes you cannot do is M17 and D-Star. You can't connect to those. And the same thing with D-Star. You can't go D-Star to DMR or any of the other ones either. D-Star is a unique animal, and so is M17. There is no crossover modes for that. So that's one way of, I hope I answered that question. I would just start out with Fusion. Use what you got in your radio to start out with, and then take gradual steps in learning about how the digital modes work. I got to reset one more time, Jim, and then I'll finish answering the rest of these questions. Okay, KE9MBM for ID. I want to kind of paint a scenario for everybody. People say that you need, digital modes, they're all they are is just to get on the internet. Well, that's not true. The digital modes, you can you can do point to point. Jim and I did D-Star to D-Star, just simplex. the digital modes will carry further than an analog signal. I just want everybody to know that. And that's one of the advantages of the digital modes, is that they'll carry further. And if there was a disaster, for example, and I'll just use D-Star as an example here. If there was a disaster, you would have a base camp that would have D-Star radio in it, and then people could go out into the field with an HT or some other, D-Star radio. And you could communicate back to base camp. With D-Star, you can send pictures. You could take a picture on your camera or on your phone or a digital camera. You could upload it to the radio that you have with you, and you could transmit that picture over D-Star to the base camp. Say some people were injured or there was some scene you needed to take pictures of. And then at base camp, they could forward that picture on to the next location, in the emergency zone. So that's one way of doing it. DMR allows you to do messaging. Some of the other digital modes will allow you to send like APRS message, and in APRS message you can send, it will automatically send not only the text, but it'll send the location where you are. If you get hurt and somebody needs to rescue you, they would know where to find you on a map. So there are advantages to the digital modes, and it's not just to go over the internet. Jim, I'm throwing it back to you before I time out. KT9G and net control, K9MBM.
Okay, yeah, thank you for all of that. And that's good. I did mention that we have done simplex on it, and digital modes are digitized and sent over the air, and then recompiled on your radio and played back, and it's you either get it or you don't. But your radio has the capability of pulling out the info from the air better than your ears can. So that's what he means by that is you can have a good conversation where you can hear the person clearly, whereas if you were trying to do it on FM or something, they'd be in the mud and you probably wouldn't hear them. But if you do it like we were testing, I think we were on 23 centimeters doing D-Star Simplex 2, and it'll just sound really choppy, and you'll only hear like bits and pieces if it's right at the fringe edge of being able to make it. So so there's that. Okay. All right. DVD is working. So K9UIL, Marty, go ahead. The floor is yours.
K9UIL back. Fantastic. That's just great to hear all this stuff. Making a bunch of notes. So it sounds like you have done simplex, station-to-station calls using the digital modes. Basically, a digital mode that supports voice, and some of the other ones, it looks like will take support messaging and imaging back and forth. It's kind of interesting. I wonder what do you do to get on the frequency, or are there specific frequencies that people tend to use for these modes? Just to get on that particular frequency and call CQ somehow. But if you can connect to people using the mode, sounds fantastic. You get all those other capabilities. And if you're through a repeater that has a connection to the internet, it sounds like you can connect through the internet to other nodes and take it that way, kind of like Echolink, I suppose. So much to learn. Fantastic. I guess just looking at it here, it looks like the big difference with M17 versus the other ones is that it's more of an open source codex and so forth, as opposed to proprietary stuff that sometimes is connected to the other radios. Anyway, back to net control. T9G from K9UIL.
All right, K9UIL, KT9G, net control. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I like testing and playing with things. And when it comes to chatting with people, yeah. So like DMR's a little different. That you gotta like pull up a talk group, and those are numbers. And there's like a huge list of them on the internet. You got to find which one you want, and each number corresponds with some type of group. I believe I'm not going to pull any numbers out of my butt, but like 93. I did just say I wasn't going to do that, and then I did it right away. Look at me. I'm such a hypocrite. DMR talk groups. 93 is or is that Brandmeister? Am I thinking of something else? I don't remember. The worldwide. Oh yeah, Brandmeister versus like Chicagoland versus TGIF. They all have different talk groups. Brandmeister's 93. That's the worldwide one. So I was right about that. So if you jump on that and just say hi, you're bound to probably get a bunch of people back. Like you'll probably hear people talking the moment you jump on it. And then there's ones, I think there's like one specifically for Wisconsin. There's one specifically for the Midwest. There's one specifically for East Coast, West Coast. And they have just got tons of them. So that's kind of how that works. And then you just join one and you chat. And then before I move on here, I did want to, before I forget, I've got the website up. I found the module board for the M17. It is compatible with the FT991 Alpha. Tested twice and extensively, and the board is purchasable through LilyGo, and it's $39.13. So cheap little guy, not too expensive, but it's the modem board with the DE9 connector. So that is there. So we can chat about that. You can chat about that. So all right, KD9 TJM Wayne, go ahead. Floor is yours.
KD9 TGM. Yeah, thinking back about my first experience of trying to use DMR, I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, one of the things that sit up there and frustrated me is just like what you just said, Jim. Sitting up there going to the different talk groups, whether it's Brandmeister or any of them. And for me, I guess, because coming from the world of CB, driving for a truck as long as I have, and it's like, man, I just want to sit there and, scan through, the channels to see who's talking and maybe jump in a conversation, things of that nature. I guess it's kind of one of the things that deterred me a little bit, from sitting up there really pursuing it, more and more. The conversation tonight, is kind of making me like, oh, okay, let's see what I can kind of sit there and do with it again, But, yeah, I remember there was kind of one of the things that really frustrated me in the beginning. So, but nothing else really to say right now as far as DMR goes. But, so, back to net, KD9 to Jim.
All right, sounds good. KD9 TGM, KT9G. Yeah, there's that. Also, the learning curve is a little weird. It's not the easiest thing to do and get set up and running and efficient with. And I didn't mention one of the things that I did use D-Star for over the internet was actually really kind of cool and helpful. When I was in, you probably may have heard this story before, but when I was in Arizona, I took my G90 little 20-watt radio and my spark plug antenna, and my hope was that I could go up on top of a parking structure and make contact back to Wisconsin. And the backup way I was going to do that was I pre-planned and found a repeater in Scottsdale, just a few miles north of me, or maybe it was in Mesa, doesn't matter, that was D-Star compatible. And so I learned how to link a reflector and linked it to the Wisconsin reflector, and I used that as a backup, and it worked. So that was really kind of cool. So there are situations where you could be in, up Poop Creek or something. You've got your radio. You're trying to get a hold of someone, and you're not able to get, but you might be in range of a digital repeater that if you can connect to it, then you can open yourself up to getting in contact with a lot more people. So that is a thing. I mean, that's not like a post-apocalypse type of thing, but maybe like if you're hiking and you don't have cell service and no one's, coming back to you on your normal repeater or something like that. You're like, I want to get on a digital one and link a repeater and just be like, I need someone to call someone for me. So that's always a thing. Okay, we're 4 minutes to the top of the hour, so we'll probably just go ahead and do our 73 round after this. Unless anyone else has any other questions, we can do follow-ups. So before we go ahead and do that, let's say, is there anybody else out there who would like to join us for the last round of the Wednesday Night Elmer Net? Go ahead. Come now, please.
Kilo Delta 9, Papa Mike Lima.
KD9 PML, Michael number 3. Thanks for coming in. Let me do one more call out. Anyone else? A Alpha through Z Zulu. Go ahead.
KG8OM.
Last call station, you came in a little fast. What was your call sign?
KG8OM.
All right, I got you on there, Steve from Watertown. All right. Okay, let me go ahead and give it to the two new ones here before we start the next round. If you just joined and you want a little bit of a primer, or if you want to ask a question, go ahead. KD9 PML, go ahead. Floor's yours.
Thank you, Net Control. This is Kilo Delta 9, Papa Mike Lima. Mike, out here in Heartland. I just caught the tail end because the wife and I were watching a movie, turned the radio on after that. Caught the last couple, I don't even think I heard the whole last round, but I got the gist of what you were talking about. Can't really answer any of the questions or throw in my 2 cents on that because I didn't hear it, but I do run D-Star, DMR, and C4FM, both in mobile and base. Definitely find the Yaesu Fusion C4FM the easiest to navigate for the learning curve. DMR, kind of easy. Well, easy for me now. If you really want to try to do something hard, try to figure out how to program a Capacity Plus radio, then DMR will be a breeze after that. That's all I pretty much got to say. Just sorry I missed the rest of it, but glad to catch the tail end. Throw it back to Net Control. This is KD9 PML.
All right, KD9 PML, KT9G Net Control. Yeah, good. There's good feedback on those. So thank you for that. All right, KG8OM. Steve, go ahead. Floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. I just had a quick question. I'm interested in D-Star, and I did a little reading about it, and it sounds like you should be able to get some kind of a D-Star dongle to hook up to your computer so you can access D-Star repeaters. Is that true, or is that a fantasy?
Are you referring to receive only or receive and transmit? Go ahead.
Receive and transmit.
Okay. I don't know about transmit. Maybe. I do know you can do it with basically any SDR for receive. But I don't know about, I think you can do it with an SDR with a specific program to decode it for receive only. But as far as transmit, no, I'm not aware. It may exist. I don't know why it couldn't, but I'll look into it. I don't know. If anyone else knows during the final round here, go ahead and shout it out. Okay, so that brings us to the top of the hour and to the top of the list. W9GTZ. Jim, go ahead. Floor is yours. 73 rounds and any other questions you got.
W9GTZ. Thank you, Jim, for hosting the net again tonight. It's been a great net. I think I learned quite a bit. One question, maybe you can answer at the end. My ST991, when you say it's capable of doing digital, the only mode it shows is C4FM. Now, does that take you into all digital modes or not? At that, I'm going to say 73s, and everybody have a good evening. Whiskey 9 Golf Tango Zulu, clear.
All right, W9GTZ, KT9G, net control. So the C4 FM is the System Fusion stuff. So it's their digital mode. It's the Yaesu digital mode. So it's just one of them. You can't do D-Star or DMR or whatnot through that. It's just their digital mode. But there's a lot of people on it, and it kind of has the same protocol on the back end. I mean, it's a different protocol, but same concept on the back end. So yeah, that's the one that you want to do. Now, I've never done it. I don't own any Yaesu, so I can't help you with, making sure that you're registered in the right thing and that you got your radio set up with the right ID and all sorts of fun stuff, like you have to do for D-Star with a ICOM radio or your Kenwood or my Kenwood. And then I will try my best not to forget to email you the links to this module board for M17 that goes with your 991 Alpha. This will add the ability to do M17 on top of C4 FM, but you can't do it without it. So I hope that answers that question. Okay, 73s, have a great night. Thanks for coming in. Hope to catch you next week. K9MBM, go ahead. Floor is yours, 73 round.
Okay, sounds good. K9MBM. The only thing I want to add about the fusion thing there is that, you can't, with the radio by itself, all you can talk to is fusion itself. If you talk to the radio, if you transmit it from the radio to a hotspot has the capability of allowing you to get onto DMR, NextN, P25, and a couple other ones. But you cannot get on D-Star or M17 from a fusion radio, even through a hotspot. Those two digital modes you cannot get on there. D-Star is by itself very unique, and they want to keep the secrets to themselves, ICOM and Kenwood, so they you can't hook a dongle to a computer to get on there. DMR you might be able to listen to over the internet. I know P25 you can, but D-Star now, you need hardware for that and some unique software. Usually it's you're going to need a hotspot and a D-Star radio to pick up D-Star. And then I'm going to throw something out there, Jim, so let me reset real quick so I don't time this out, and I want to throw something out there for everybody to think about. Okay. I don't know if everybody knows this, but I'm going to throw this, and I'm pointing it at the DMR trucker guy, the old CB guy there sitting at his desk, typing away. Say you were in your truck, and you were using DMR, you were driving along down the freeway, you were on a DMR repeater talking to somebody. The radios nowadays have the capability of roaming, so that you could, it'll automatically transfer to the closest repeater, link to it, and carry your conversation on. So, say for example, you were driving down the road, you were talking to somebody that was on one of the talk groups, for example. on either Brandmeister or TGIF or whatever. You were on a DMR repeater that was linked to that. Okay, I know for sure the Anytone radios, mobile radios and HTs, they have roaming in there. So when you get out of range for one DMR repeater, it'll automatically link to the next closest repeater based on where your location is. Pretty much like a cell phone tower. It switches automatically from one tower to another. It has the capability of doing that, DMR. I don't know about the other digital modes if they could do that, but DMR definitely can, as long as the radio is capable of doing it. With that, back to you, Jim.
All right, yeah, KA9MBM, KT9G, 73s. Have a great night, and thanks. That is an interesting thought. I do know. Oh man, I can't remember the 400. It's a mobile radio. It has the capability of you putting in GPS coordinates for repeaters, and you can use something like the FM38 linked repeater system, and it will auto swap to the closest one as you're driving around. So if you're driving across the state and you have the GPS coordinates put in and you have GPS on the radio, it'll swap as you move away from one and move to the next. So that's kind of the same thing, but I think the digital ones, like, their information is on the internet, so it pulls it for you. You don't have to like program it all yourself. So yeah, that's cool. We maybe see about what he does. So all right, 73s, have a great night. All right, K9UIL. Oh, hold on. Give me a second. Checked out. There we go. K9UIL. Marty, go ahead. Floor is yours. 73 round.
K9UIL back. Fantastic. So much to learn and understand, but and these different modes that we can operate on. Hey, I got a bunch of notes and stuff to look up. I was looking at radioid.net while you other guys were talking, and it's a whole new avenue to communicate with other people through ham radio nowadays. So I'm loving it. So much new stuff to learn. Anyway, I'll be back with lots of other questions in the future. 7-3, everyone. K9UL.
All right, K9UIL, KT9G, net control. 73s, have a great night. Glad you're here. I'm glad we can answer questions and have fun. This is a good net. We had a good chat tonight. All right, KD9, TGM, Wayne, go ahead. Floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, KT9 TGM. Yeah, as he was saying that, I was like, yeah, I got roaming in this radio. yeah, I got it activated. I mean, I do. But like I said, the only thing I didn't do, because I'm like, okay, do I really want to do it? Is I spent, Saturday night into Sunday morning, because again, I'm up because of just what I do for a living, so I'm just up, I'm in front of the computer, reprogramming the radio, because again, as anybody that's dealt with an Anytone before, they're just a pain. I don't even use their programming software. I use RTS, so it makes it so much simpler. But yeah, I had to redo everything in there, and I got the roaming on, I got everything else, but the only thing I didn't do, like I said, I didn't put in the talk group information. So yeah, but I don't know. I'm going to try to get back into it. This kind of got my juices flowing again to try to see, if I can go that way. I'm going to tinker around with Droid Star on my phone. Again, I looked up my radio ID, so I got that programmed in there, and I was able to connect it, to one of the DMR networks, and I did get it on M17, but again, not knowing which one is which, for whoever, or if they're just all interconnected, I don't know. But yeah, I just kind of scooping around with that. So, all right, 73s to everybody. Have a good night, and catch you all next week, and hopefully KD9 TGM.
All right, KD9 TGM, KT9G, net control. 73s, have a great night. Drive safe. Yeah, thanks for following back up on that. Sounds good. All right, KD9 PML. Mike, go ahead. Floor is yours. 73 round.
Thank you, Net Control. This is KD9PMM, and I think my voice just cracked. Anyways, one thing to note about System Fusion C4FM with the 991A, you do not need to register anything with Yaesu if you're using a local repeater. With that radio, if my memory serves me correct, because it's been a long time since I've used the 991A to link through the internet directly, I believe you need to have the HRI 200 box. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, the HRI-200. Basically, it's a sound interface for the 991 that lets you use the Fusion software on your Windows-based computer, and I say Windows because that's the only operating system it's supported on. Then you can directly link to the internet and can connect to any talk group, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to call them reflectors because they're not, because it's a strictly Yaesu's server system. So you'd need one of those to do that, and you would have to register for that. Also, if anybody else is listening, if you have one of the handhelds or the FTM 400, 300, 200, I believe as well. I don't own a 200, but I know the 400 and 300 can be linked directly with cables to your computer to talk through the internet with that C4FM, as well as like the FT5 and 3Ds and all that stuff. And you can set them up two ways, either as a personal digital node or as a personal digital hotspot, which basically lets you or anyone talk to that radio if it's in hotspot mode and get on the internet through your radio that's dedicated for that purpose. In personal digital mode, you can use that radio and talk to the internet right through your radio, so you're really not doing anything RF at that point. So with that said, one more thing, that the ID 4100, which I now believe is discontinued from ICOM, does do the nearest repeater thing, either analog or digital, as long as it's programmed and stored in the radio. But you have to manually do it. So as you fade in and out, you have to, hey, this is where I'm at. Okay, here's your list of closest. And I believe I timed out on that, so you have to manually choose it. And with that, 73, back to Net Control. This is KD9PML.
Yeah, all right. No, thank you for that info. That's good. And then, yeah, you cut off there. I don't know if you've got the fancy or got something that cuts it off on your side before it times out the repeater, so that's kind of cool. Mine just beeps at me, so. All right, yep, 73s, have a great night. I got you marked as checked out. Okay, KG80M. Steve, go ahead. Floor is yours, 73 round.
Well, thank you. I don't have anything else to add, so I think I've got a few questions answered. Thank you very much. Everyone have a great evening. 73, KG80M, clear.
All right, KG80M. 73s, have a great night. Thanks for jumping in. Okay, so that brings us down to the bottom of the list, and we've gotten everybody checked out, and 15 past the hour. It was a good net. So is there anybody else out there, A Alpha through Z Zulu, with any late check-ins or last-minute business? Go ahead. Come now, please.
Whiskey 9 Golf Tango Zulu with a comment. If anybody's interested, Karen is in scheduling, setting up a breakfast at Melrose in Oak Creek, 6840 South 27th Street on the 13th of February, Thursday the 13th, and it's at 9 o'clock. And if anybody's interested, I'm going to be net control for a while on the Saturday night net. Look forward to seeing you come in. Whiskey 9 Golf Tango Zulu, clear.
Whiskey 9 Golf Tango Zulu, KT9G. All right, good. Thanks for the info. That helps. 9 a.m. on Thursday in Oak Creek. Okay, anyone else? A Alpha through Z Zulu with any last-minute business or late check-ins? Go ahead.
KT9G, Jim, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Jim, I don't know if it was just my radio or you were hearing it too. I had a little bit of bacon frying going on during the net. I don't know if it was just me or was you hearing it too?
I wasn't hearing any bacon frying from anyone else. It might have just been you. I don't know if anyone else had it. I do know that KD9 PML had like a real fast clicking background sound, but that wasn't really bacon frying. Everyone else sounded fine to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, could just be me. Again, my lovely mobile setup that I have in here. All right, now I was just checking. All right, KD9G, Jim.
All righty, sounds good. All right, one more call out. Any late check-ins or last-minute business? Go ahead.
PML.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, it's funny you mentioned that ticking sound, because when KD9 TJM is on, I get that ticking sound when he's transmitting, and only him. And honestly, I literally thought he had a turn signal on. It was the first time I heard it.
Oh, that. I do hear that when he talks. I don't know what that is, and I honestly thought it was a turn signal. I think he might have his hazards on while he's waiting to move or something. That's what I assumed it was. Your ticking is like really fast. It's like, so I don't know what that is, but you know what? Now hold on. Let me close this net out, and then I'll ask him what that is. Any late check-ins or last minute business? Go ahead. All right, hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and secure this net at, what time is it? 8:20 p.m. And as always, thank you all for participating, and a reminder that this net, with most other nets here on the 9-1 repeater, welcome new operators to experience net control operations by trying a net or two. If you wish to try acting as net control operator, please contact our club president, Karen, KC9WQJ, to participate. All the net scripts are on the club website for you to review. At this point, I'll return the repeater to normal amateur use. Again, my name is Jim, Kilo Tango 9 Golf, and I hope everyone has a great night in the 73s. All right, let me stop the recording here.